Alrighty, finally done with the lids. Now let's get into the actual core stuff of what we want to learn about. First up, I've got a bunch of T-handle BONDHUS Allen keys. These are not all the ones I own. These are the ones that I use regularly. It took a while from when I was assisting as a second AC and then when I stepped up to firsting. Kept them all with me, but then over time I kept using these key ones. So I 3D printed just a little holder which is available online, which I'll include in the link below. And this is really great. That just keeps all my Allen keys in one spot ready to go. And then particularly in moments that I'm jumping between having my camera trolley nearby and not having it at all, I can move all my Allen keys from this little holder to something similar I've got on my trolley, which is just pretty cool that it's always adapting. Got a 3mm metric, a T10 Torx. Can't remember which one this is. I got this because it was a particular measurement that I couldn't find in any of the Allen key sets that I could buy. For a cheese plate that I've got somewhere here in my kit that we'll get to in a little bit. A 1/8. We've got 5/32ths, a 3/16ths. A little Swiss Tools flathead screwdriver. This thing is damn strong. You need one of these in your kit. When you're trying to get base plates off of the bottom of the cameras that we use, we tighten them, and grips are usually extra strong and they tighten them to hell, which is what we want. But then when we are returning the gear, we need to take everything off and it's a really big struggle sometimes. So having a seriously strong flathead is really damn important, particularly in the camera department or the grip department. We are always tightening and loosening screws and devices and mounting things, and they need to be secure. Given those are things that rely on safety and sometimes are holding up thousands and thousands of dollars, these tools need to be reliable. So when you're investing in Allen keys, don't cheap out. They need to be quality. And I know that might cost you some extra money, but these are the type of tools that will last you decades, so make sure you get the right ones. We need to have all our bases covered. You need metric, you need imperial, and you need Torx as well. Usually you can find the L-shaped Allen keys at your local hardware store more commonly, but when you can, I would get the T-handle ones, just because when you're trying to tighten or loosen something, you can apply more grip when it's a T-handle shape, very similar to the flathead Allen key. Now moving across, I've just got some random small blue tape roll there, just, you never know, always helpful. This is the cheese plate from Little Cine Tools that I was talking about before. This seems to be kind of my savior. It is just, yeah, a little small T-shape, pretty easily mountable just with a 3/8 screw that comes with it. This seems to be the cheese plate that works for me on most jobs, particularly when I'm on a travel job and I can't take everything I need. Sometimes I don't know what I'm walking into with a camera build. This is the cheese plate I always take with me, just because there's moments where I've used a tiny little Komodo and there's barely any rigging points on it. I can use this and create more. But then there are other moments that we're using, say, an ARRI Mini LF, and I've got the cheese plates for some different side brackets, but then there's been moments where the DOP doesn't have that particular side bracket for me to mount my stuff onto, so then I use this. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird to some of you out there, particularly if you're not from Australia. This is a cricket ball, and you'll notice that it's got a 3/8 screw on the end there too. We don't play cricket with this particular one. This is purely for a grip on the back of a top handle. So think of like your Hollywood handle setup when you've got all the bells and whistles and all the budget to hire what you want. You want something comfortable for your camera operator or your DOP when they're trying to guide the movement of the camera from the rear. And here in Australia, we use V-lock batteries for most jobs. When you're grabbing a V-lock battery, there is a chance that with enough pressure, you can pull that battery off and then everything dies, which obviously doesn't look good. So having a top handle or a Hollywood handle that loops around, not only does it help reduce the chance of that issue happening, it also just makes it more ergonomic when you can add a little like knuckle puck or the Australian version with the cricket ball. Now the point of having this in my kit is purely just to offer a little bit more comfort and kindness to my DOP or my camera operator. Camera operators and DOPs have to work hard when they're wearing an easy rig, and put a lot of strain on their bodies. When they're trying to do their job, you need to guide the movement of your camera and be very delicate with it. Having something like this, almost imitate when you're shifting gear and using the palm of your hand, they can be a little bit more soft with it rather than having to grab a handle or grab onto the battery. This just allows them to just be a little bit soft and just guide it. A friend of mine made these here in Australia, and ever since I got it from them, it has received so much positive feedback from the jobs I've been on, so this never goes out of my sight. I've got this massive pouch of assorted things. In here I've got all manner of things. Little top handle extender, phone mount, various 15mm rods, some spigots, clamp, monitor mount, rod extenders, cable clamps, more top handle extenders, Ratworks rod mounts, random little ball mounts, some random Rosette clamps, Ratworks Cube as well, more rods, random 15mm clamps as baby pin adapter, 19mm Ratworks mount, an EVF mount for the Steadicam jobs, and then another monitor mount if I need for a 15mm. So this is really just random rigging stuff. Usually it stays about the same because this has kind of been the all-round kit, but there are times when I know we're going to use more or less, or other stuff I've got in my van that I'll switch out depending on the job, but usually this is the go-to of random mounting accessories. Now for me, I found this to be super helpful to just have a random assortment of rigging accessories that just allows me to always be prepared for whatever comes our way. Sometimes we have a quirky idea, sometimes there's a camera build that comes to mind that we didn't get a chance to test, and other times we just want to do something cool. So it really helps to just have various amounts of ideas in my case that I can offer solutions regardless of what we want to achieve. Now before we put this away, just hidden behind them a bunch of Lumo color white markers, and these are super fine tip. These are really great for when you're creating marks on your focus ring. They wipe off really easily and they're very fine marks as well. I personally don't really use these, however, it's just always comforting to have them in my case as a backup if I ever need. Being an AC getting into YouTube, I've been focusing on getting my information accurate, but still striving for making my content look good. And thanks to the Dehancer plugin for DaVinci Resolve, I've been able to make my simple footage look much nicer. Once the plugin is installed and activated, it's simply drag and drop onto your clip and then just really have fun messing around with all the variables. It's so great to have the options to amplify the bloom of a shot or change the film grain, and my favourite is just to mess around with the film stocks to completely change the look of every clip. Honestly, it's been super easy to use with my very little experience with colour grading, and it's given me so much confidence in the content I'm putting out into the world, as I know I'm using the same high-end tool used by many other filmmakers and creators. So whether you're making music videos, commercials, feature films, or just fun stuff on the weekends with your mates, I reckon Dehancer is a great way to unlock an extra level of visual results for your footage. So if you go to Dehancer's website and use the promo code CameramanDan, you'll get 10% discount for all Dehancer products, except the iOS app subscription. Now over here I've got the most random assortment of screws and quick releases and mounting things, and this is a lifesaver. The reason it's a soft pouch is purely just because of the way it fits into my case. It just helps me maximize empty space, and it is a little bit messy. However, I open it, everything is in its little pouch. I've got two Teradek transmitter mounts, 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapters, Upgrade Innovation Small HD locking pin adapter, all manner of Kondor blue quick releases as we talked about, washers if I ever need to create some spaces between my screws, small pouch for 3/8 screws, and another one for 1/4 inch screws as well. Then in amongst here I've just got a random assortment of mounting screws. I've got male to male 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch screws with a big handle on it, some that are Allen key, Phillips head, some that are very long, some that are very short, so just all manner of different screws that could really help me. Beneath that soft pouch I've got a few different magic arms, very giant Noga arm, nice little baby one as well, different little set of pliers, which is just great for when I'm trying to either work on an SDI cable or I'm just trying to pull something out and I can't reach it. Got a set of scissors, because you always need those. Super big set of clippers, super big set of pliers, super duper backup Allen keys. So I've got Torx, I've got Imperial, and I've got metric as well. And that's just really good that, you know, regardless of the situation I'm in, I'm usually covered for almost anything, and anything bigger than this is usually in the grips territory. It's definitely helped having these in my kit that I can take care of myself and my team and not have to rely on the grip department, because there are times when we don't have the budget to have grips on set, or they are just way too busy rigging for something that we're coming up to next. So it really helps that I can, you know, sometimes be independent and not have to lean on them and really take tools away from them working efficiently. So it's really nice to have these as backup. Next, I've just got a little 3D printed divider here just for the certain things I've got here. This is purely because when I was getting on travel jobs a lot recently, that all the stuff kept falling apart and moving around. So this is just to keep it nice and tidy. This small little Pelican case that is purely for antennas, all manner of different sizes. Normal standard ones that come with the Teradek system, little stubby ones, little mushroom ones as well if you ever need. Even with the best intentions, accidents happen, and unfortunately, you know, antennas are quite delicate, so they do break quite often. So having replacement ones at the ready has really come in handy. We've got some 2-inch black matte tape. This thing is an absolute lifesaver, regardless of the department you're in. This thing is epic. If you were to tape something to a wall, it usually doesn't pull up paint, or at least it has less adhesive so that it's less likely to pull up paint, so that's really good. But then also it doesn't really create much of a reflection compared to, say, really glossy gaff tape. So as much as it's not super strong like gaff tape, this is the kind of stuff you would use if you're trying to, you know, reduce a reflection of like an LED from the camera, or you're just trying to create a flag without having to introduce a side chop. Then next up, we've just got a bunch of these little reusable rubber ties. These things are damn good that when you're trying to wrangle cables on your camera rig, these just keep it nice and neat, and it's just like wire or something on the inside, and you can just articulate them to whatever shape or size, or you can wrap them around things, and they are so damn helpful. These ties are pretty damn cheap, and they come in a pack of like 20 or 30, and I don't think I've emptied both of my packs just yet. I have lost some over time because they are small, but they are so damn helpful. Most of the time I use them just to wrangle cables to look pretty, but they are particularly helpful when you're, say, on a long form job and the camera rig really isn't going to change all that much across the job. Why not wrangle your cables to be right out the way and perfect and neat? And these are the things that really help with that, but also look nice and professional compared to using tape or even zip ties. Then alongside that, I've just got my 20-meter soft tape measure, which is just damn cool that it's got meters as well as feet, and you know, being in Australia, I need to do both. This doesn't really come out all that much with how fast we need to move on sets usually. However, I always have this as a backup to my hard tape measure, just because it is damn good and it is extremely long. Now we're on the final stretch here, we're in the last corner. I've got a little random Siemens star here from Lens Camera Tools, a few adhesive letters for cameras, all manner of colors of different adhesive focus arrows, and these are made by a local company here in Australia, and really damn cool if you don't want to have to keep, you know, writing and rubbing out marks with a whiteboard marker. You can just use one of these and keep moving the mark. And plus it looks really pretty. We've got 3 little pouches that are all identical in their size, but they've got different things. So this one I've just got with cables, D-tap splitters, which are always a lifesaver, dummy NPF batteries to D-tap, dummy LPE6 batteries to D-tap. Both the NPF and the LPE6 dummy adapters have really helped when I'm trying to keep my onboard monitor for my DOP or camera operator powered on. And it's really great that rather than having to switch out onboard batteries on the rear of those monitors, we can always keep these powered via D-tap. These have been a lifesaver that I literally don't have to worry about it all day. 2-pin to D-tap splitter, a little voltmeter if we ever want to see what the voltage readout is, and then just a few other random cables in here. Yes, this pouch is a bit higgledy-piggledy, it has a bit of everything, but that's the whole point. It's the most random assortment of cables that I have up my sleeve just in case we need a solution. Next, we've got the visuals box. This is just all manner of SDI and unfortunately HDMI cables. 12G, we've got 3G, we've got coiled, straight cables as well. I've got all the HDMI cables we could ever need with full micro and mini. Right angle SDI adapters, right angle HDMI adapters, straight SDI extenders, female to female HDMI extenders. But also I've got these surge protectors. These are highly recommended if you are using or own a red Komodo. Only having one SDI port makes it very, very important, and unfortunately when the Komodo released, and since then it is unfortunately quite common that people accidentally fry that SDI port. So having something like this does make it maybe a little bit more bulky when it is a tiny little camera, but having something like this in your kit not only will save you a lot of effort, but it will save you a lot of money. And then on to our last pouch. This is just tools. A Swiss Army knife, actually from Switzerland. 2 different types of spirit levels in case I need to check anything. Here I've got, I think it's like a 101 random screwdriver set that was off eBay for something pretty damn cheap. This is really good that it's not only got the screwdriver set, but it's also got little pin for resetting Teradeks as well. It's got a set of tweezers, random little plastic adjusters there. And then on the rear, all manner of different types of screwdriver heads that you could ever need. This is not going to cover every screw that you could ever need, but for camera screws that are usually quite small and delicate, this has been damn helpful. There we go, that didn't take long, now did it? Thank you very much for being patient. I know that was a lot of information all at once, and some of it very strange perhaps, depending on where you live. But for me, this kit has worked extremely well. I haven't really amended it much in the last 12 months, but it's gone through a lot of development in the short few amount of years that I've been working. So yeah, I hope this gives you some ideas for what you could include or add to your kit, and best of luck with everything. Talk soon.